Time for the initial walkthrough. This is something I do for most of my customers, Ben, is I do a video walkthrough of every room before new tenants move in. Obviously, I moved in 2 days ago. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday, March 12th, 2026. And we're at 16 Riverview Court in Brookfield, Connecticut. So we'll just start with the video. I'll give you my description as we go. Brian, the previous tenant, said this handle had fallen off some time ago, and obviously he hasn't been using it. It is here and here in some pieces. The door itself works fine, what I'd consider normal wear and tear inside the channel there. No bad mold or anything. Little bit of deterioration from humidity, as you would expect in a shower. A couple little shampoo splashes or something up there. The fan does work. That light bulb was out. I replaced that. One of these light bulbs is out. I replaced that. Just a normal drywall crack there above the door. Tile is all in excellent shape. The vanity, no problems at all. Actually very, very clean. Toilet is great. So, bathroom is in terrific shape. Master closet. Not much to see here. All the shelves are very secure. Couple little hangers that were left from Brian. But in here, everything, the carpet was fine. So nothing in here that concerned me in any way. Doors open and close just fine. Smoke detector works fine. Just a few tiny little dings, nothing major in the walls. Again, a couple more little things he left. There was some Velcro he left on the valance. I'll just remove that myself. Windows are fine. The screens are starting to fail a little bit, which I'd expect because this is facing west and the sun just beats the heck out of these screens, but nothing crazy. I did plug my computer in. Obviously broken cover plate. I'll replace that. Get another hook that Brian left. Again, minimal marks on the walls at this room. I would love to have touch-up paint. I called Sherwin-Williams. The paint cans that were in the basement, that paint, that ultra, I think it's called Ultra Spec. I got to look again. He said Benjamin Moore. I'm so used to Benjamin Moore. That's what I usually use. Sherwin-Williams discontinued that paint several years ago, and you can't match it anymore. He said you get close, but between the color being off just a hair and possibly the finish being off, he goes, it's going to end up like a giraffe. I run into this pretty frequently, so unless you want to paint all the rooms, none of which I think need to be painted, I'd say I'm just going to live with all the dents and dings that are in the walls throughout, and not create a giraffe on you. These carpets were a little dirty, but the cleaners, Stanley Steamer, did a great job. There are a few wrinkles right here. And I'm going to try and stretch those myself at some point. So this is the master bedroom. Smoke detector in the hallway works fine. Light, one of the bulbs was out here, but I replaced that. We already talked about mechanicals room. And everything in here is fine. Doors close with no problem. I checked the emergency burner switch. That does work. This switch works. Bedroom number 2. Again, Very, very minimal dings on the walls, mostly marks more than dings. Again, nothing in here that makes me concerned or should the previous tenant be billed for. Again, screens are starting to wear, but no big deal. The blinds are in excellent shape. Mechanically, they work perfectly. Windows lock. Sills are all clean. That is just missing a cover plate for the coax, for the cable. Not a big deal. I'll replace that. Sorry, I've already started to hang my stuff in the closet. There was no bulb in here, so I put bulbs in here. Again, the carpets are absolutely fine in here. The shelves are all super secure. No significant marks on the walls to call out. Again, just very small little things. We wish we had tenants like Brian all the time. Smoke detector in here works fine. I did clean all of the air intakes and outlets, so those are dust free now. Door closes fine. Let's get some more lights going here. Just a little bit of he had some sort of a Velcro thing on that wall. Again, walls are fine. There's so little in here. Hardwood floors are in excellent shape. No dings. I don't know if he had pets, but it certainly looks like he did not. The floors are in excellent shape. There's no areas that are cupping or warped or separating. There's one tiny little scratch right here in the living room. See if we can get that a couple different angles, but I think he had a TV stand or something right here. But outside of that, the floors are in excellent condition. Little bit of some nails in the wall. Again, not a big deal, all normal. He had a sofa here, and that's just the mark where the sofa was. That's where I'd love to have some touch-up paint, but again, I'm just gonna try to clean it and leave it. Same thing, little mark in the corner there where a sofa was. Move my TV. Yeah, same thing, just a little bit more from the back of the sofa. Windows in the living room, excellent. The blinds all operate perfectly up and down. They close fully. There's no problems with any of the individual slats. Again, Brian Elston, dream tenant. Some little bit of dirt and stuff around that outlet, but again, nothing crazy. Just again, very subtle marks. Slider works absolutely fine. The deck, as you know, is in great shape. It poured here last night, so the river is in all its glory. One thing on the slider, which works absolutely perfectly, it looks like the screen failed at the bottom. They tried to do some tape. It is pulling away from the little bead on the inside, so we'll try to see what we can do there. Outside outlet works fine. The deck was fine. Let's get some more lights on here. Heating and cooling controls are fine. Let's see, let's go into the bathroom. Again, missing bulb, I'll replace that. This fan does not work. It's in the on position. I did have to put a bulb in there too. So this fan is not working. I'm going to recommend we replace that. Toilet's fine. Everything in the shower is clean. Everything in the shower, no issues. Tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of paint peeling around the shower surround, but again, nothing that is, I wouldn't even call it normal wear and tear. It's frankly far below it. Again, faucets all work fine. Vanity was in excellent condition. So that's the second bathroom. So we go into the kitchen. Some more lights here. So the two of the ceiling lights were out. I did replace those. Refrigerator, amazingly clean when I arrived. Even cleaner after the cleaning crew finished. Doors closed, no problem. Same thing with the freezer. I double checked the temperatures. Freezer temperature is at 1 degree. The fridge temperature is at 35 degrees, just where they should be. Countertops, all in absolutely perfect condition. No nicks, no dings, no weird things that may have gotten spilled on them. Windows above the kitchen sink are fine. Again, just a little Velcro thing that he left. And, you know, again, normal, tiny little minor indentations in the wall. One thing I'd probably call out is the cabinets, the base cabinets specifically, are not in the greatest shape. Especially the place they always fail is in front of the sink because of all the moisture. Not the end of the world. I'm going to look into seeing what it takes to, how closely I can replace to match this paint, and I might paint them. Everything underneath, nice and clean, no water damage. Dishwasher, no dings at all on the face. I did run it, everything works fine, no smells. Drain is fine. The heating elements are working because everything got up to, the heating elements got the water nice and warm, unlike the water heater. Talk about that. Lazy Susan works perfectly. Shelves aren't slipping. And closes nice and flush. Again, some of the damage to the cabinet, but the cabinets themselves, the insides, everything is clean, no smells. All the drawers are in great condition. Inside of the oven, super clean. Cleaners, and this is after the cleaners, but they didn't have to do anything. Stove, everything works, all the burners ignite. Everything seems great. Microwave works perfectly. Nice and clean on the inside. Minor thing, the cabinets above the microwave, the hinges need to be adjusted. They're a little bit loose. So you can see they scrape the top of the microwave. You can see they're sagging with the big opening. I'll adjust those. Just to the left of the microwave, there's some dings in the cabinet. Didn't break through the paint, but nothing too crazy. What else do we have in here? The island is absolutely fantastic. Same thing. Everything, drawers are clean. All operate fine. The soft close is fine. A couple of the knobs were loose. I tightened those up. Not a big deal. But the island itself is in excellent shape. A couple little dings on the drywall part of the island. But again, all things I'd consider normal. Absolutely nothing worth calling out. This is the sink side, so of course a little bit more, some of the dings on the corner bead. But again, very minor. Outlet works fine. Floor, again, just absolutely fantastic. Even in front of the sink, the floor is fantastic. This is a spot that I a lot of times will find people put mats, they get moisture that gets stuck against the hardwood and creates problems. Nothing at all to worry about there. Washer and dryer. Interestingly, the washing machine was in here 90 degrees. I'm not sure why, but the hose length is fine, so I just reoriented it to the way it's supposed to be. The dryer was pretty bad below the lint filter. There was a lot of lint inside the dryer, which of course I cleaned that out. Again, walls and everything in here, no smells. The washing machine has a very, very faint mildewy smell. Nothing that concerns me. Everything is clean otherwise. Some minor rust on the top of the dryer, probably from putting wet clothes and stuff, but that's unfortunately to be expected. Again, normal wear and tear, nothing that concerns me. Some very minor smudges up on top of the door and the casing. The door is closed, no problem. Same thing with the pantry. Floor is in excellent condition. This is another area that I find that a lot of units are damaged because people just put junk in there, excuse me, that spills. Shelves are all clean and not sticky. Inside of the door is fine. That scared the heck out of me. I don't know if you can see there's 2 holes. I don't know whether they tried to hang something up there, but sprinkler, not the place you want to be drilling a hole. But anyway, there's no leaks, so we're okay. The 3 switches that are at the top of the stairs on the landing, one controls this light, which I have for the moment taken down. It was filthy and covered in cobwebs, and 2 of the 3 bulbs were out, so I'm actually cleaning that right now. Which switch was it? It was the switch all the way to the right that controls all the lighting in the stairwell. I could hear it arcing inside when I was flipping the switch, and so I just took the cover plate off, and it turns out the neutral was loose. I checked the other ones, of course, as well, and one of them was starting to get a little bit loose, but 13-year-old wiring, not surprising when you start to see outlets and switches start to run into that problem. But everything's fine now, so that's good to go. Any of that I run into as I live here too. If I see switches or outlets that have begun to fail, I'll just take cover plates off, tighten them up, and adjust them. I checked every GFCI. They all test fine. They're all connected properly along both sides of the sink, so no big deal there. This was the return was another bit of a thing. There was a lot of dust on here, but I took care of that. Then there is a lot of dust inside the ducting system. I don't know whether someone had done some construction work in here, maybe, because it's tan. Almost like the floors were refinished or something. But we'll see. We'll just do a good job of keeping on top of the filter. Again, very, very minor little ding on the doors. The stairs are what I would call very normal wear and tear on a flight of stairs where you're coming up as much as you do. You'll see there's, mostly they're just marks. By the way, that part is fine. The upper walls in the upper part of the stairwell are all perfect. They don't even need to be touched. There's a lot of cobwebs, so I got those out. Railings, tiny bit loose on the railing, so I'm going to secure these. It's nothing dangerous right now, though. The carpet is nearing its end. You know, it's really compressed. The padding is compressed. I got to give credit to the Stanley Steamer guys. They were amazing. Some of the caulk is starting to fail along the trim on the stairs. Again, very normal, nothing to worry about. So here's some more of the little dings. That's actually a little bit of a indentation, but there's nothing in here that there's a nail pop there, a couple nail pops. You can see those, but again, nothing that scares me or I think needs to be addressed. On the landing, of course, is always where you see dings, ding, ding, but nowhere near as much as I've seen at other places. Again, just little marks here. The landing, the carpet. Again, kudos to the Stanley Steamer guys. They did a great job. Again, just little marks on the walls. And nothing that really, again, I would love to have touch-up paint, but we don't. And I think ultimately what we would do is make it look worse, or you would incur a pretty big expense to have to paint all this. So unless you want to do differently, my vote is save your money. No one's going to go crazy with this. Again, another ding, another ding. Very small. This area, the landing closer to the front door, this was a big stain in here, and Stanley Steamer did a great job of getting that out. Again, more dings, but again, I'll try and clean as much of this as I can. And the dings, we're just gonna leave them and move on. And a couple more here. This railing is a little looser, but again, I'll screw that. And if that's, a lot of times I use short screws in here, I'll get some long screws and secure that to the framing. Again, just very minor dings, and again, mostly marks. There's a little ding. There's some more cobwebs. I missed those. At some point, someone looks like they touched this up. I guess they probably made a pretty big ding in the ceiling. It's hard to see, but there's some drywall compound that they put on there that they didn't sand. I'll sand that. Stairs are fine, no crazy creaks. This was here when I moved in. Clearly needs to be secured a little bit better. Tile, no cracks. All the tile is fine. Again, some, as you'd expect in the main entryway, some decent wax around here. There's again another spot on the wall. But in general, it's as good as you can expect. And the same thing with the carpet. Down here, going into the basement room, baseboard heaters are fine. Walls, I'm getting bored saying it. Some little dings, some marks, but fine. That light was out, so I put bulbs in that. I checked that smoke detector, it's fine. Closet door opens nice and easily. Super clean, no stains, no smells. Again, so often I open closets when I do these kind of things and there's smells everywhere. Down here in the extra room, there's some little marks. Brian had a desk down here, and that was the back of his chair that went against the wall. But again, in here, you're fine. There was a huge water stain in front of the mechanicals, or the water access in the electric panel closet. I don't know how the heck they got it out, but they got 90% of that stain out. I was almost going to say this is going to be a guaranteed carpet replacement area, But the carpet down here is actually the best condition in the whole house because it doesn't get used very often. So door closes fine. Different smoke detector, which doesn't bother me. This is actually a CO alarm only, I believe. Yes. So that is only carbon monoxide. It's not a smoke one, but we've got a smoke one right outside the door, so we're okay. As long as we have one smoke and one CO on each main living area, we're fine. Again, the window treatment works fine. Windows lock, doors close. There was some paint that was left, as I mentioned before, in here. And then there's some tile that I'm going to assume is for the bathrooms and for down here. Garage. This door, again, I'm not going to beat them up. I'll just clean it myself. But the entry door from the garage, kind of dirty. Self-closed door needs to be adjusted. It doesn't close completely on its own. So I will tighten up the hinges on the self-closing hinges so that works. Again, everything in here, the floor is fine. He did park his SUV in here every night, but there's nothing in here. No problems with any of the walls. Again, there was just a bulb in there. I replaced that with something a little brighter. Garage door opens and closes, no problem. Sensors on the garage door are fine. I double checked those. The keypad works fine. I think the only thing I do need is, oh, by the way, this to me looks like there was a dog at some point. It certainly could have been a previous tenant. I don't know if it's Kevin, but that to me looks like a dog scratching. Could be wrong, but that's a pretty common thing to see where a dog might scratch to get inside. Drywall is even good down at either side of the garage door, which is shocking because usually water gets in there and degrades the drywall pretty good. I will lubricate the spring. The track everything's nice and quiet. Looks like the track's never been hit. I don't see any marks on it. But I'll lubricate that spring. That way we save on getting a garage company to come in here and do that maintenance. And I think that's it. Both the deadbolt and the door handle work fine. I don't have a key for the deadbolt. When Brian gave me the keys, I got one key for the handle, and there were two other keys, but they don't work in here. And I do need to get the code from this. And if I do change it, obviously I'm going to let you know. Some minor things, a little bit of the weather stripping. I'm not going to worry about that, especially on the bottom. I don't know if the association, you might want to let me know if the association maintains exterior door trim. That's starting to fail. That's the factory caulk on the side light that's starting to fail. That's happening on both sides. I'll keep an eye on this because with all this western exposure, this is where rain comes from the southwest primarily. So we'll go from there. I didn't see anything at all. No damage to the outside of the door. The exterior light works fine. So I think overall the unit's in amazing condition considering the age and a 6-year tenant. You know, again, a little bit of dirty here, but I'll clean that off. Most of these things that I'm saying I'm going to do are not, they're just things I think that as a tenant, the right thing to do is just do them, especially since I know what I'm doing. So overall, excellent. If there's anything in here that you think, here, you just see my ugly mug. If there's anything in here that you feel I missed, if there's anything that you want to call out that you want more detail on, just let me know. But No, this is, frankly, I wish almost every property I manage for people was this good after a tenant's been in here as long as Brian has, because they're usually way worse between kids and pets and normal wear and tear. So yeah, so unless you have any questions, that's the tour and that's all the details of it. And if you need anything, let me know. Thanks.